Bitcoin, we start with one of our charges. I want to give a quick update. First of all, if we refer to our analysis, we discuss about how we can look at this flat because we mentioned we want to look at this one as a flat, but there was no continuation. And even we discussed that there is both the possibility of the price retest the previous low, okay, which we refer to this one. That's why I mentioned we want to see whether the price can break 32,650 or not. As we can see, the price dropped to that level. There was a consolidation, and now we want to see whether this is a reversal or not. Anyway, still we are within this correction if you refer to the bigger time frame. That means still we are within this correction. If we refer to our analysis, I was keep highlighting that we can expect the price to consolidate here, and in that case we can expect this one turn to a bigger correction for one more drop. Okay, that's meaning the bigger picture still we can expect similar to what we had here, because the price was consolidating here, and after that we see the reversal. And what we can expect is still we can expect this one turn to a deeper correction, and then from there we can look for the reversal. All right, now the question is whether the price, this is the start of the reversal, or we can expect to get one more drop. Mostly from what we can see here, we can expect this one give us one more drop. Either the price drop from here, or the price retest the previous top, which is somewhere around 37k. All right, somewhere around 36,800 or 37k. That's why if we want to look for trade for the long term, we need to be quite careful. That's why since the price was within this move, all right, before we get this move, I was keep highlighting we can expect the price to consolidate here for longer time. And what we get here, we are expecting for the repetition here for the bear market. That's why still we can expect this one turn to flat for one move up, the price drop before we get the reversal for the long term. For sure, if we get one more drop, at least with the retest the 28,500, then any reversal from there we can look for long term if you want to look for buy. Okay, now if you want to look for trade within this range, especially for buy, we should be quite careful. If the price cannot break 37k, we need to know that we can expect for one more drop. Now the only question is whether this is the start of the down move, or we can expect the price to give us one move up, at least three waves in the biggest, turn this one turn to flat for price to drop before we get the reversal. For sure, the best is if we get one more drop and retest the 28,500k, 28k, 28,500. All right, somewhere around 28k, because at that times we can confirm whether the price can retest drop to 25k or not. Anyway, the only thing is we are looking for this correction right now. Okay, and if we move to lower time frame, the way is moving quite corrective, and we are within this correction. All right, because at the first stage we have been looking for this flat, and we had the second option that made this one turn to flat for one move up. This is we get, but the price couldn't retest the previous top. Okay, now the question is whether we can put this one in relative to this. That's mean we look at this one as a flat for one move up, or we can look at this one as a separately. This is the first flat, and this one got the internal flat as well as a first correction, which is including the internal flat for one more drop before we get the reversal. That means we can look at the chart in this way. The best thing is if you put this one as a first move, and this one turn to a correction, and for one move up. That's why with the retest of this top, as I mentioned, based on daily chart, if you put our line here is around 36,700, somewhere around 37k. Then after that, the price can drop. All right. And if you want to look at the chart, the way this one, the price is moving here is consolidating, is quite corrective. That's why we can see the changes, and this one can turn to a more complex correction. And right now, what I'm thinking, we put this one as the first one. That means this one as a first move, and this one as a correction, including the internal flat. And that means this one turns to a correction. If we get one move up with the breakout of the previous top, any down move from there can give us a confirmation for the price to retest the 28,500. Okay, what's the changes? Whether the price continue from here, if you want to look for trade based on lower time frame, is a short-term trade. Okay, the way the market is moving is quite, this correction is going to be quite complex. All right, and even if you refer to our analysis, I mentioned we need to see the breakout of the previous low. As we can see, the price almost dropped to 32k. Whether we can expect for the reversal, or this one turned to the correction similar to any of this, we cannot see the confirmation. That's why any trade we can consider as a short-term trade. And as long as the price haven't retest 30K, we can expect this one to be correction in relative to this move. Okay. By the way, we don't see a really good correction. I mean, trade setup here. The only thing is technically we're looking at this one as a first internal flat, and we want to see whether this one can be a last move or not. All right. But if we refer to the indicators, we don't see the divergence. Okay. That's why we don't have a confirmation. All right. And we don't have really good trade setup, and any trade is a short-term trade. And if we move to 1 hour chart, all right, that's why if we put the look at the indicators, we don't see any reversal point. If we refer to the indicators, the way they are, as you can see here, we cannot conform with the divergence, and the another indicators as well. That's why the possibility of the price to reverse from here is very less. Okay, and we can expect this move turn to any move similar to what we get here. That's why if you want to look for trade, we need to be quite careful. Any trade is a short-term trade, and we don't need this line anymore, because we mentioned if we want to look for buy, we need to see the breakout of this line. And anyway, 2 times there was a breakout, but there was no continuation. Okay, we are going to remove this line. We don't need it. And even if we want to look for trade for buy from here, we need to see the correction similar to what we get here or flag. But it's a short-term trade. We cannot buy, because simply still we can expect this one turn to similar to what we get here for one more drop. All right, that's why still we are within this down move, and the way is moving quite corrective. Even we can look at this one as an internal flat, as a first correction, and the third wave. Since we don't have the divergence, we can expect the price to consolidate here, and this one turn to 5 wave structure. Okay, that means this is not a 3 waves structure. All right, whether we should look for buy or not, we are not going to look for buy unless we get the correction here, either as a flag or the DP correction. Then from there, any continuation as a sharp move, we can take the trade for the short term, similar to what we get here. This is what I mean by the short move. We need to see, because at that time, mostly if we want to look for trade, we need to put our entry above the top. Either we get any flag or DP correction similar to what we get here, or any correction similar to what we have here. We need to see the continuation as a sharp move. This is what I mean by sharp move, and or similar to what we get here. And as long as the price getting to the profit, we move our stop loss to break even. Okay, the reason is we don't see the confirmation for the price to retest the top. That's why we can expect this one turn to a 5 wave structure before we get the reversal. That's why we need to see one more drop, then from there whether we can get the reversal or not. Okay, the only things I can highlight here, we are still within the bigger time frame, we are within the correction. And if we wants to look for trade, that means if you want to look for any trade, we consider it as a short-term trade, because in the base on the higher time frame, still we are within the bigger the correction. Anyway, we just follow the chart and we follow the market, and in the bigger picture, we want to see whether we can get the reversal or not. Still, we can expect the price drop to somewhere around 30K or 28,500. Okay, by the way, we just follow the chart. We don't see the confirmation for the reversal for the long term if we wants to buy for the long term, but any trade will be a short term trade. Anyway, we just follow the chart, and if I see any update, any confirmation for the reversal, when we're talking about the reversal right now, I'm referring to the long term. I will give an update. The rest will be a short term trade. And in this case, we just follow the chart again. If I see any update, I will share. Thanks.